All right, Algebra 1 notes. So here we go, Algebra 1. We're doing section 4.1, writing equations in slope-intercept form. Something we've talked a little bit about before. So I'm going to take all these notes today and get credit for them. Write down the title, put your name, date, period on your sheet. And let's take these notes and then you upload them, turn them in. Okay, so we've had a lot of experience with this before. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And so we've talked about that before as the equation for linear equations. M is the slope and b is the y-intercept, So if you have those two things, you can write the equation in line. And today that's what we'll be working with. We'll get that information in different ways. So example 1, we are going to write the equation of each line with the given slope and y-intercept. So part A, I will give you the slope equals -3, and I will give you the y-intercept equals 2. And so we're trying to write the equation into y equals mx plus b. And this is the m, and this is the b. So we're going to substitute these into the equation where we see them. So it's going to be y equals -3x plus 2. And that's it, you're done. This is about as simple as it gets. We'll do one more. Something a little more interesting. Slope equals 0. Y-intercept equals -2. We're going to write it into y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form. We're going to plug a 0 in for the m. And a -2 in for the b. Now we can simplify this. 0 times anything is 0. And plus negative is the same thing as just negative or minus. So this equation ends up just being y equals -2. So we want to simplify our answers. All right, let's look at another way we could do the same thing. This time, it's going to be using a graph. So a graph that's been given to you. We're going to go ahead and draw them today. So you can use graph paper if you want. I'm just going to try and do a good job. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to know some points on the graph. So let's say we know this one, which is at 0, -3. And we'll know another one at 4, +3. 4, +3. And then the line, straight line, will be connecting them with arrows on the end. So this would be given to you already done. This would already be done. Okay? So we need to find the slope, which we could also think of as rise over run. And if you have a picture of the graph, you could just count the squares. Now, it might help to draw a vertical line and a horizontal line between the 2 points. This is your rise. We're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. right? Up, positive, and then we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4 squares to the right, and that's your run. Rise is up and down, run is left and right. So it's going to be 6 up 6 over 4. And then we could reduce it, divide 2 out of the top and bottom, make it 3 halves. So that's your slope. Now your y-intercept is literally where the graph intercepts the y-axis. Intercept is fancy word for cross, right there. Another giveaway, which we'll take advantage of on some other problems where we don't see it, is that when x equals 0, that's the y-intercept. The y-intercept is -3. So b equals -3. So we got a b value. And now we can just write our equation like we did in the last problems. Y equals 3 halves x minus 3. Let's do another one like that. One, two, three, four, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll give you a couple dots. So we'll say there's one here at 0, 2. And then we'll say there's one at 4, -1. And they're going to be connected with a straight line. You can use a ruler. I'm pretty good at drawing straight lines by hand, but so if we'd like to get rise over run, we could connect these horizontal line and a vertical line. So I'll draw a line over to the y-axis, draw it up. This is your rise down 1, 2, 3. We're going down, so it's negative. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to the right 4. So always go left or right. That's your run. So the rise is down 3 over 4, which makes sense. This is a negative slope because it is going downhill, right? You should expect a negative slope. Now the y-intercept is right here. So b equals 2 when x equals 0. On a graph, it's what crosses the y-axis. Final answer is going to be y equals -3/4 x plus 2. All right, let's go on to another variation. This time, it's getting kind of harder and harder. Instead of a graph, instead of just being given to us, like in the first example, we're going to actually use points. So, for instance, A could give you -3, 5, and 0, -1. So these are 2 points on a graph. And really, if you give me any 2 points on a line, I can do what we're going to do. We got to find the slope, which is rise over run, which we also said was the change in x, the difference in x, y2 minus y1 over the change in y over the change in x. So change rise up and down. So here's your x1, y1, x2, y2. And you say, okay, well, -1 minus 5, this minus this equals 0 minus -3. That gives you -6 over +3, minus minus becomes plus plus, and then you get -2. So there's your slope. And then we also said that the y-intercept is when x equals 0. This guy is your y-intercept. So your y-intercept is -1, your b value is -1. So your answer is going to be y equals -2x minus 1. So that's how we do it. Okay, 0, -5, and 8, -3. So we can do x1, y1, x2, y2, y2 minus y1. Be careful, lots of negatives. -5 minus -5, 8 minus 0, plus plus, -5 plus 5 is 0. 8 minus 0 is 8. 0 divided by anything is 0. So the slope is 0. And here's your y-intercept, because if x equals 0, this guy's your y-intercept. Right, your y-intercept is -5, your b value is -5. So the equation of your line is going to be y equals 0x minus 5, but we could simplify this because 0 times anything is 0, and we just get y equals -5 for our nicest final answer. So, all right, last example. Example 4. This time we're going to be using function notation, something that we've talked about recently in previous lessons. Function notation. So this time f of 0 equals 10 and f of 6 equals 34. And really, this is just like the last problems. They're giving you 2 points. But remember, this is the x, what you plug in, and this is the y, what you get out. This is what you plug in, this is what you get out. So you could write these as ordered pairs, 0, 10, and 6, 34. And now it's just like the last problem. So we need to find our slope, x1, y1, x2, y2, change in y, rise, 34 minus 10, over 6 minus 0, 24 over 6 equals 4. So we've got our slope, and here's your y-intercept, e equals 10. So your answer is going to be y equals 4x plus 10. There you go. Now, today's classwork will be monitoring progress. Starting at page 177 in your book, it's at the bottom of the pages. We will do problems 1 through 6 all. There are little play buttons in the online version of the textbook that if you press will show you a video showing you exactly how to do the problem. So if you have any trouble, any questions, just want to check your answers, you can watch a very quick video and figure out how to do it, figure out why you got stuck, figure out why you got wrong. So let's go ahead and do that now.